and welcome to another Rosie Your Realtor show. Today we actually have Janet coming back to give us some more information on the landlord-tenant. Lots of issues going on in the state. Some more information. So, hi Janet, how are you?
Great. How are you today, Rosie?
Good for a Friday, right? So,
for Friday, just getting there of the week. Woohoo!
Yes, almost there. So, thank you so much for coming back again. I know that you are just a wealth of knowledge and you could be on here probably 100 more times, but I did want to bring you on back to talk about some of the issues that landlords are seeing right now, and just keep helping our audience. So I'll let you take it away.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. There's so many things that people really have to watch out for, so I wanted to just draw it way back to the basics. I know that the last time we had talked about rental ordinances and stuff like that, but now that we're coming out of the moratorium, we're seeing more of the fraudulent things come through. So that's what I sort of kind of wanted to do, was like sort of like a 911, watch out for these things, be aware. That's the biggest thing. And that is when you do your tenants, when you're doing a lease up or you're filling your rental. It's important that people understand that, during the moratorium, a lot of people were scared to rent because they're like, oh no, I'm going to get scammed. But what they didn't realize is that those people were already in place. There was nothing to incentivize them to move, and they could just keep scamming away. Well, now you can do the evictions. So that's something to really watch for, because now there's that opening. So when people ask me, what do I do or what do I look for? There's like 3 right now that are very prevalent, that are very fraudulent. And one is fake paycheck stubs. You can literally buy them online. And the scary part is that they are linked to a system. So people are selling their information to somebody else, which is very, very interesting, right? Because I've seen it advertised. And for $200, you can be a manager wherever you want to be and make that covering. Yeah. So the idea is to really look over those check stubs. If they're sending them to you online, you can actually hover over the check, and the check will just like my hand does, like a little vibration. That vibration is a key that you really want to see that check, to have them send it into you. You want to call, you want to check. I check the website, make sure that this, because I've had people who literally built websites around this. And I was just like, this does not make sense. So you have to look at it all, make those calls, make those inquiries. Look on the Better Business Bureau. Is this truly a company?
Yeah.
And then go forward that way. So once you get the check, it's checked out, you're sure that those are truly pay stubs. And you want to get several. So I require 3 months. And people are like, wow, 3 months is a lot. But
oh wow,
it's a lot harder to scam out 3 months of paychecks than the last 3 weeks or the last 3 paychecks.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The second one is people do not actually list their actual landlords. Now, I have a little easier time of it. I can pull someone's title, find out, are they really the deed? Is that someone who actually owns it? But landlords have to watch out for that, because it's easy to put your best friend down as your landlord. So you want to look at the email address. Does that email address seem viable? Is it Missy's friend at AOL.com or what? And then you want to check their phone number. Do like a reverse check on that number so that you know that that's actually a landlord. That's someone who actually owns that property, because we see a lot of that. And then, right? Because people get crazy. And then
someone else, hey, guess what? You're now my boss. Wow.
Yeah. So you have fake landlords, and then the other thing is then the fake employers. So their friend is their employer, and they verify that they make all this money. One way I go around all that is I ask for a ledger. It's a little bit different of a philosophy, because you can do all those verifications and people can lie through their teeth.
Yeah.
To get a ledger that goes back from the time that they started, I want to see your full ledger. Have them emailed to you directly. It does not pass through the tenant. It has to come through from that name that they've given you as their landlord. If it's a actual property management company, it will be a very easy download for them to do. If it's a mom and pop, then they're going to recreate all that. your friend is not going to recreate, years of a ledger. So people have
Yeah.
ledgers, and a ledger shows a lot. It shows, have they paid late? What day do they pay on? Do they use, most of the companies out here use software to pay, so you can pay online ahead of time. Have they had any complaints? Are there a lot of tenant charges, which means they're very hard on a unit? There's a lot of things you can really look for that a tenant ledger will give you a lot more information on. And then again, if you are doing verifications, you have to be very careful on what you say, because that could be a fair housing violation. And that's how people get very, very sued. Get litigated against. It's a shame, and it's a shame, but really you can only ask based on what they said, is this what they make? Based on this date, is this a true date? You can ask yes or no questions only. And sometimes when people are declined, they do come back to sue you because of the information that you've given. So it's very difficult for people to give up information as well. So the
Well, it's
ledger
funny you say that, because I had a situation where, when I get offers for selling homes, I like to verify with the lenders, have you indeed, I know you have a pre-qual, but have you indeed collected all this information? Have you reviewed it? Where are we really in the process? And once it was a very higher-end home, and I called the lender, and almost off the back, the lender goes, well, I know that this is on there, but they're good people. And I was like, no, I didn't know that was on there. And now based on that, I'm not making that offer. Like, that's, this is going to give me issues. And, and that could have gone into that whole fair housing. Who knows? But yeah, people, in that instance, unfortunately, their lender did not play a benefit for that. But
yeah, I know that a lot of landlords go, well, I really feel as though they're going to be a great tenant. I could just get that feeling. Those feelings are not fact. And I think that's why it's so important to use a property manager, because so when someone applies with me, they actually go through an Experian process. They go to what's called, I go through this company called Findings. It's the highest AI. They literally scan those checks. They scan the last 3 years of their bank statements. They make sure that those deposits actually hit, that it's all true information. And you're declined if anything's been falsified, of course. But they're doing all that digging, so it takes actually that pressure off me, because I don't have all those. I'm not that tech savvy where I can build out an AI to prove up anything. So it's a different feeling, even if someone's doing a lease up, to have someone with that kind of background to be able to do that for you. And people do it. Property managers do lease ups all the time for people.
Wow. Yeah, that's when I remember years ago when we had a condo we wanted to rent, and I remember trying to go online and just pay for a service where I could run someone's credit or try to get history. And it's not easy. If you're just a mom and pop, it is not easy. And that's where I remember my gut feeling saying, I should just get a rental company. But I remember thinking, oh, I could do this, and bad experience.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, all the more reason why I feel like as a property management, the fees involved with having those services alone, to be able to do that. I mean, it's huge, right? If I'm a mom and pop, I don't want those expenses, because I'm going to run someone's credit one time, and what you have to go through to get access to people's information to be authorized to have those programs. I mean, it's a process. I remember. So absolutely, I'm always a big advocate that if you're going to run a house, even me being in real estate, use a management company. You do what you do, I'll do what I do, and we're all happy and safe.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't realize is that they've even cracked down hard on property management companies. It took me 6 weeks to prove up to Experian that they could give me that information. It would be safeguarded within my computer, or if there was going to be any paper trail, that I would be the only one that has access to the paper trail. It include videos of me locking and unlocking my office, unlocking and locking my cabinet drawers, my filing cabinets, proving up what kind of software I have on my computer so that it can't be hacked into. I was like, this is crazy, because they actually stopped with property management managers giving them credit reports. They're like, we can give you a range. We can give you an idea of what's on the credit report, but we can't give this to you any longer unless you do this. And this was rolled out about 2 months ago, where they just stopped everything and said, everyone gets certified, because they were getting sued on their end. So every time there's a lawsuit, there's a repercussion, which is great. I mean, it works so that people know that their information is safe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's important. I mean, as a tenant and a landlord, you want to be protected, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember even a while ago, I was talking to someone and they're like, oh, I found this rental and it sounds so great. I'm like, slow down. If it sounds really good to be true, you need to go check it out. And they're like, well, they just want me to send a little deposit up front. I'm like, you haven't seen it? So definitely,
No.
on both sides, they're scams, whether you're a tenant or the landlord or buying a house. I mean, it's a crazy, scary world we live in. So we can never be too careful. It's important to, just, I say, don't be cheap and just pay for the services and know you're protected.
Yeah, I actually place stuff throughout my units so that when someone walks through, because I do self-showing, so you can go through at any time during daylight times. You can pick a time, you're giving information, you're giving your ID, so I know that you are you that has taken on this showing. The scammers will walk away from that. They will not even bother by that because they know that they're already caught up because there's so many bells and whistles to it.
Yeah.
But on top of that, when someone goes through, I say, call me. And you're going to tell me what's like, if I've left my business card, where is my scan code, QR code on my card? Things like that, so that they go, oh, okay. So that they know that it's me that they're dealing with. Because out of the last 5 rentals I've had 3 people show up days after people have moved in and they're waiting on the front lawn for the keys. And my residents are calling me like, there's people on my lawn. I said, have them call the cops. They've been scammed. And there's nothing we can do. We feel horrible for them, but they're like, no, you're in our house. You need to get out. I'm like, no, that you got scammed. And it happens a lot. And you know what? It used to be like it was a super cheap unit. Now it's not. So you want to look for, so if you're looking for a property management company and you're on the tenant side, I have branding all over. It goes in a Z pattern on all my pictures so that you know that someone hasn't taken them and stolen them. That's the one thing most of us do now because of that. And then on top of that, you want to ask them, if I go into this unit, what should I be looking for? Because they'll be like, oh, well, there's, and they'll go off the pictures. But someone should have left something behind just to be able to confirm with you, or if you're really nervous about it, because it happens. It happens. Yeah. I feel bad. And that's been going on for over 20 years. It's an easy scam, and it's terrible.
It is.
No one will ask you for money up front. No one's going to ask you for money up front. You'll have to.
I've heard of it. It's on Craigslist, and they're like, "Oh, it's a hot market," but the first one to get me a deposit, and it's like, I didn't see the home. And some of these families, they're desperate to get something. Even the rental market's so competitive that they think, "All right, we'll get you the money. Let's move forward." And it's sad. It's very sad that people would prey on that, but it exists, unfortunately. Yeah. So all the more reason I always say use a rental company and someone that's really specializing in it. All right. So Janet, if somebody had a question on all this, or is thinking of renting out their unit and looking for a property management company, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can get hold of me by email at janet@rent805.com, or always at my, I always answer my phone or text within 24 hours. So 805-776-8805. And I love talking to people and just pointing you in the right direction. You might not be ready for a property management company, but at least I can give you some ideas of what to look for.
Yeah. Awesome. And we have that information there for our viewers. And then also, I know we've talked about a little bit about, the moratorium, some of the scams going on. Obviously, I say your management company. What all does that entail? Are you just managing property? I mean, you're doing the screening. You can take it from A to B, right?
We take it from A to B. Yeah, that's the idea. Is that we can start from the beginning. Like right now, I'm working with a property where someone has passed away. So we go in, we help with the cleanup. We make sure all those vendors get in and get out very quickly. Then you get your cleaners in. I bring in the marketing. The marketing's done. I have that back within 48 hours. And then your unit's up on about 20 different websites. I do not go to Craigslist. I do not go to Facebook Marketplace. That is not where our clients are coming from, because that's where the scammers live. And we tell people straight up. I do have, every once in a while, an owner will be like, no, I want to be on Craigslist. And I say, this comes with a lot of warnings. This is not something I'm going to approve. If you want it, we'll do it. But you need to know if this works out. I can't do my guarantees. I have guarantees in place. Then the person moves in, we do the full background screening. We collect the security deposit, the rent, make sure that the utilities are turned into their name. They have a concierge service with us. We also have a resident benefit package to make sure that they have the renter's insurance before they have a key to the unit, because you want to make sure that you're always covered that way. It is mandatory with our company. From there, then the first 2 months are usually the most expensive, because anything that's a utility or a breakage, an appliance or whatever is going to happen within those first 2 months. And then things tend to calm down. So then we're making sure that we're watching the unit. I do a lot of giveaways to my residents where I stop by and see the home, see them, give them their gift, whatever they want, because I have a first of the month club. So if you pay by the first of the month, you're into a drawing, and I deliver those gift cards out. And then just keeping the eyes, there's a lot of people who be just driving by the property. Well, I like to stop and see what's really going on. Has people moved in? Have they moved in some pets that I didn't know about? What exactly are we doing here? And that helps keep a relationship with the tenant, because if you're just grabbing money, there's no relationship built. And then we start the renewal process about 90 days out. I do a walkthrough of the unit. You get pictures of your unit or a 360 video. And then we talk about, where's the market going? What do you need to have happen? Where are we seeing this? And then we start the renewal process with the resident, so that we are constantly keeping a positive ROI on your return of investment on your property.
Well, I'm sure that's important, because when you have a good communication with them, they tend to be better tenants versus, the more they want to be on the download. I should be.
You know what? I walked through a place last night. It could have been a model. I swore the guy was an interior designer. I was shocked by that unit, because I've always known that he's taking good care of the unit when I've stopped by, but I was doing a full video. I couldn't find a piece of dust, and I was like, this is amazing. Even the patio, like they care for the unit more. They love the units. If you love them, they love the units. The owner loved their units. We're all good. It's when the owner says, and that's not a fit for me, if an owner goes, well, it's just a rental, because they're never going to treat it like an investment. They're just treating it like, oh, it's just whatever, and they get whatever they get. It is fine. That's not my perfect client, because I want someone who goes, I understand the client is my tenant. My client is the tenant and the owner. The owner has to understand the client, the tenant is a client too. So, but thank you so much. I always appreciate you here.
Of course. Thank you again for joining us again. And, I can't speak highly enough about you. I mean, everybody speaks great about you, by the way, in the office. Everybody loves you. And so I appreciate you coming on here, and hopefully, those watching are finding value. And maybe hopefully we'll even get you on again, because it's an ever-changing market.
It's an ever-changing market. Always love to be here with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
There it is.